opportunity inside. But, with this Laker team, too.
Robert Williams has gotten chances to play extended minutes lately. He obviously played a bunch down the stretch here. Has the biggest thing for his play this season been the fact that he's been consistently healthy and able to be on the court for an extended period of time?
Yeah, and I just think he's got a lot of experience under his belt, maybe not as much game minutes over the last 3 years, but I've said before, you can't underscore or undersell the development of being around Baines and Horford that first year. I thought they gave him a great foundation. Last year, he started off the season well, but we had a lot of bigs, and then he got hurt and missed 50 games. So it was I thought he did really well in the seeding games towards the end of it, really well, and most of his opportunities in the playoffs, and he's just picked up after that. So he's on a great trajectory. He's really helping us. One of the things about Rob that I think sometimes does not get talked about enough is he's a competitor. He wants to win. He plays hard. He goes after rebounds. And he's learning how to take advantage of the things he does best on both ends of the court.
Mark D'Amico.
Hey, Coach, 4 for 4 now in the last 2 seasons that these two teams have gone down to the wire. Seems like something about you guys and them always leads to a close game. What is it from your perspective that leads to such competitive matchups between you two?
Well, I think they're really good. Obviously, we haven't played them full strength in either game, so a little bit of a grain of salt. But I think that they're really, really good, and I think you better have your T's crossed and I's dotted to be in the game and have a chance. Our guys did a good job tonight of staying the course. They were spinning us in circles defensively there at the start of the third and missed some shots. And then got a few to go. But I thought our guys kind of hung in there and did a lot of good things.
Matt Vitor.
Brad, can you just assess what you thought of Jalen's play tonight, both in terms of just how healthy was he and how much did he bounce back?
I thought he looked good health-wise. Thought he was moving good. He had a couple of the biggest possessions of the game guarding Paul George there in isolation, and did a really good job in that. That's a hard thing to be tasked with, but a very efficient night, good night.
Gary Washburn.
Hey, Brad, after the Atlanta game, you said that the next 4 would be the most critical of the season. You guys have won 3. Obviously, you're pleased with that, but what's been your impression of the guys' response? What have they done different over the last, 6 days that you've wanted to see?
Gary, the 2 things that they've done is they've stayed together when they easily could have been pulled apart by the noise. And I think you have to be able to resist that when you're at this level and you're going through the roller coaster of a season. And then the second thing is we've slept in our bed for 5 straight days. We're fresher. We just look better. We look more like ourselves. And I don't think you can discount that either. I think that there's a lot of factors in navigating a long season. And we didn't play our best throughout a big stretch. We still, we're 1 bounce away the other night from not being 3-0 in our last 3 games. And if we don't play well Thursday, then we'll lose. And I just think you try to be your best, but you can't be your best if you're pulling apart. And it does help when you've got your legs underneath you. And I think, staying together and getting some rest and a little bit of a rhythm and a routine has been a positive.
Ryan Robb.
Hey, Brad, you touched on Rob earlier, obviously, but just for the entire bench right now, the consistency you've seen from them this stretch, do you feel like they're, guys that are just establishing better roles or just more comfortable now, as we work way further into the season?
Yeah, yes. And they were giving us stuff when called upon that I really appreciate. Javonte Green went 3 minutes on Friday night, 33 minutes on Sunday, and 0 tonight. Part of it was we didn't have Jalen it was a matchup thing, but he was ready to go when called upon. These guys have all been good about that. They're just getting, I think we're getting better playing together with that group. I think Rob's threat at the rim really helps that. But those guys they can't just be bystanders. They got to be aggressive. They've got to be assertive. They can't play passive. And I thought that they have backed that up a couple games in a row now.
John Corrales.
Brad, you've had, Daniel Tice obviously helped close out that fourth quarter against Washington. Tristan starts the game off pretty well here, and then Rob is playing great down the stretch. What kind of challenge has it been for you to juggle those three guys and figure out who to play and when?
I think, Tice has closed most games over the last couple of years just because he's a guy that can guard different guys off the ball and has been obviously making free throws is a huge part of the end of the game situations. He did that again tonight. But I trust Tristan and Rob to, if they're in there, to do the same stuff. Tristan's made big plays at the end of games for us, and Rob probably hasn't gotten as many opportunities just because in a lot of those situations we have been one of those other two guys. But, it was a little scary when they went small, but Rob matched up with a wing, and I knew if the ball was in the air and it was a jump ball, we were going to get it, and he got that rebound and knocked in one of two. There's all kinds of factors that would go into deciding that late. And, I trust all three will be good if you put them in there.